What's good, YouTube? This is my first time going live, so I don't really know what to do. You see, I got the teddy bear in the background. Man, I just been sitting here going through like my journal, like going through my journal from when I first had my spiritual awakening, which was about probably about two, three, probably about 3 years ago now. Almost 4 years ago, because my daughter will be 4 in the next 2 months. So it's probably been about at least 3 years since I like started to walk down this path. And I'm going through like my notes, going through my journal, and I'm looking back at it, and I used to journal a lot. Like I used to write a lot. Like I got a whole like binder of just like, pages of me journaling, me taking notes, of me like just expressing my thoughts, how I felt in that moment, on that day, at that time, like what I was learning at that, like in those moments. Like I just gotta, and I found this because like I just moved my stuff into a different room, and I just came across this randomly. And I'm a firm believer in that, like everything happens for a reason. So, like I genuinely believe that, like I found this for a reason. Like this crossed my path again. This recrossed my path again for a reason. And I'm like reading some of the quotes and some of the like notes I took, and it's giving me that refresher. It's giving me that reminder. And I just want to share a few of it with y'all. A few of the like notes I took. A few of my journals with y'all, because I feel like it'll help y'all as well. Um, I kind of want to start with the first book I ever read was Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, and I kind of wrote it at the top of here, and these kind of the notes that I was taking throughout reading this book. And I'm guessing this was the first chapter, but the first like part of the book was about identity. It was about our identity, our identities as human beings. And a quote that I like wrote down is, "I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think that you think I am." And you just gotta let that resonate for a second. Let that like marinate. Let that sit in your mind. Let it sit in your body. Like you gotta sit with that quote. I'm gonna say it one more time. I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think that you think I am. And I'm explaining how I feel about that quote now, because when I wrote it back then, I'm sure I had a whole different perspective on it because it was my first time hearing it. But being that, I've heard this quote a few times, and with all I've been through and the mentality and the knowledge I have now, this quote means a lot more now. Because what this quote is really trying to say is that we live our lives and we live our lives through not our own personal perception or perspective of ourselves, but through what we think or how we think other people view us, how we think other people's perspective of us looks. And to break that down into more simpler terms, like basically, however I think my mom views me, I'm gonna live up to that expectation. I'm gonna try to meet that expectation. However, like I think a stranger views me, I'm gonna try to live up to that expectation. So let's say, for example, like I go to like a park or something, and I go to this park, and I see this girl, and this girl is just staring at me, and I start getting in my head like thinking this girl's probably thinking like, oh, he looks good, he looks nice, I like how he walks, I like how he talks, I like how he carries himself. So when I come across this girl, when I actually get near her or notice that she's watching me, I'm gonna start acting out in ways that I think that she's thinking about me. I'm gonna start walking and watching my every step to make sure I look cool. I'm gonna start speaking and watching my every word to make sure I'm speaking with confidence and speaking clearly. I'm gonna start like carrying myself to make sure I look good and make sure I'm walking clean and like looking good pretty much, because if I walk weird, then I'm not meeting her expectation of me. If I talk weird, I'm not meeting her expectation of me. If I carry myself weird, I'm not meeting that stranger's expectation of me. And when you break it down to like a more like, when you look at it from a higher perspective, from an elevated perspective, it's like you really don't know what that person is thinking about you because you haven't asked them. I haven't asked this stranger, what do you think about me? I haven't asked this stranger, how do you think about my walk? I haven't asked this stranger, how do you think about how I speak? So I can't assume that they're thinking this way, or I can't assume that they're thinking this part about me if I don't know if that's true or not. So in other words, we create our own like anxiety, we create our own stress by trying to meet someone else's expectation of us when we don't even really know if that's that person's expectation of us. And that's why I say when I first heard that quote, it kind of blew my mind because that was the first time I became aware of myself doing that. Like that was like the first time that like I had that real self-reflective spiritual moment in my life to where I'm like, damn, that's true. Because anybody with social anxiety, you know that like when you're out in public or all the attention is on you, whatever the case may be, instead of being in the moment, you're in your head thinking about what other people are thinking about you. But it's like if you take a step back and really think about it, you don't really know if that's what other people are thinking about you. These are just thoughts that you're creating in your head. You see someone looking at you and you're like, oh, they probably think I look like this. Or they probably think I look weird. Or they probably think I talk funny. They probably think I look ugly right now. When in reality, that person probably just looking at you like, oh, look at that guy right there. Oh, look at that girl right there. And that's it. Like, that's probably all that crossed their mind. You walk past them and like, oh, look at that guy. And they kept walking. And another thing I would say that really helped me out when it came to like that, came to social anxiety, when it came to like just always being in your head and thinking about what other people think about you, is I read this book called The Fifth Agreement, and they was talking about how we all live in our own like minds pretty much. We all live in our own realities. We all live in our own worlds based on what's going on up here mentally. And they're saying that when you cross someone's path, when you're communicating with someone, when you're talking to someone, hanging out with someone, like whatever your reality is and whatever that person's reality is, they're coming together in that moment though. Only in that moment. So if like my sister were to come here right now and sit here next to me while I'm making this video, her reality and my reality are marinating together. They're spinning together. They're dancing together. And like I said, that's only in the midst of that moment. But the minute she leaves this room, the minute she leaves and it's just me here, now it's just me and my own reality. But the struggle comes, the stress comes, the anxiety comes. It's when someone leaves, someone walks away, and it's just you and your own reality. But now you're thinking about that person's reality and bringing it into yours. You're thinking about that person's mind and their thoughts and bringing it into your own mind. And then when you get there, that's when that, social anxiety is experienced. That's when that depression starts to get experienced. That's when that like stress starts to get experienced, because it's like you're stressing about something that you created. You're stressing about something that was self-created. When all you really had to do is just get back in the moment and be like, they left, cool. Let me get back to doing what I was doing. This person left, they walked away, cool. Let me get back to doing what I'm doing. But instead of getting back into doing what you're doing, when a person leaves, we're like, damn, they're probably walking away thinking, oh, he's weird as hell. they're probably walking away like, oh, that was a weird ass conversation. Why did I even go with it? And like I said, that it's you don't really see it that I think I don't even know who made up this quote, but I heard this quote that said you can't you don't know that you're in a maze until you escape the maze. You don't know that you're in a maze until you escape the maze. And what that pretty much means is that you can't become aware of like your own flaws. You can't become aware of your own created anxiety, your own created stress, your own created problems, your own mental blocks. Like you can't become aware of any of that until you pull yourself out of it. And I think that's where a lot of that like the cycles of stress comes from. You know, when you get in those moments where you're like it's like an everyday thing. Like you're waking up every single day thinking the same way, reacting the same way, feeling the same emotions, talking to the same people, getting annoyed at the same exact time. Like you in this constant cycle of feeling the same way every single day, thinking the same way every single day, reacting the same way every single day, like in this constant cycle. And it's not until you pull yourself out of that cycle to where you're able to look at it and be like, damn, I've been thinking that way for the last 10 years. Damn, I've been feeling this way for the last 20 years. Damn, I've been reacting the same exact way for the last 15 years. And the crazy thing is, some of us are still in that cycle. Some of us are still in that mental cycle. Some of us are still in that emotional cycle. Some of us are still in that, like, physical cycle, honestly, to where you're doing the same things every single day. And like I said, you don't know, you can't become aware of it until you pull yourself out of it. You can't become aware until you do something differently than you're naturally doing. And that just comes back to like in order to grow, in order to like improve your life, you got to be able to embrace whatever you're experiencing. So when you're feeling depressed, instead of trying to fill that void and instead of trying to distract yourself from that depression or anything like that, you got to sit with it and feel it without pushing it out there. Because that's another thing too. Whenever we feel something negative inside, instead of feeling it and accepting it and like embracing it ourselves, we like, nah, you can have that. I'm mad right now and I don't want to feel this way, so I'm about to go off on you. I'm mad right now and I don't want to feel this way, so you can do the smallest thing and you just giving me a reason to just want to go off on you. Like that's what happens when you see people that's just always yelling at people. You see like cranky people that's just like always complaining about things, like people that's always overthinking, that's just always like reactive. Like that comes from them not wanting to feel what's going on inside and being like, I don't want to be responsible for this, so I'm gonna give this to you so you can handle that. And in doing so, it's like pretty much, at least from my experience, like once I became aware of that, I learned to just not take things personal, I guess you could say. Like if you see someone going off or someone tries to go off on me, 'cause I'm the most chillest person in the world. I'm the most laid back, chillest person in the world. So if someone tries to like curse me out, go off on me or anything like that, like I just take it with a grain of salt. I'm just like, okay, bro. Like I don't really allow myself to get mad or get riled up. Like you can be cursing me out, going off on me, ready to fight, and I'm just gonna be like, bro, why are you doing all that? Like it's more so like a funny thing, cause like I know where that's coming from. I know where that's stemming from. And since I know where it's stemming from, I can't get mad at you about that. Because you don't know. You don't know what you're doing right now. You don't even know why you're feeling the way that you're feeling right now. You don't even know the root of where it's coming from. And I may not know the root of where it's coming from, but I do know that you're not conscious enough to know what you're doing right now. And since I know that, I can't get mad at you. I can't do nothing but wish you healing, wish you peace, wish you love, and try my best to, you know, bring you back to a more conscious space. Because anybody that's yelling, going off, cursing you out, murdering people, robbing people, like just doing something bad, it's due to unconsciousness. It's due to them not being conscious and aware of themselves in that moment. That anger took them over, that negative thought took them over, that depression took them over, and they're reacting out of depression, reacting out of anger, reacting out of anxiety, whatever the case may be. And it's only so much you can do to pull someone out of that state. The most you can really do is just, like I said, just when they're sending anger, send back peace. When they're sending, like, when they're going off on you, send peace, send love. Like, don't try to, you can't fight fire with fire, pretty much. Anytime you fight fire with fire, all that's doing is making things worse. So, like, anytime somebody throws fire at me, tries to go off on me or anything, like, I'm just sending peace. I'm sending water at you. And whatever you do with that, that's on you. I only can send so much water. I only can send so much peace before I begin to lose my own peace. I only can send so much love before I begin to lose my own, like, self-love that I have for myself. So when it gets to that point to where I'm constantly sending you love and peace and you're still sending me fire, that's when now I gotta remove myself, because now I see that you're not even trying. I see that you're not even trying to work on yourself. You're not even trying to become more self-aware. You're not even trying to become more, like, conscious enough to heal, bro. And that's really, like, all it stems from, just trying to heal. So yeah, man, that was kind of, I don't even know where I just went with that. I started with the quote, it just went a whole different direction. But yeah, I'm just looking through different quotes that I have and different notes I took when I first got on my spiritual journey. And one, look, this one right here, this one is talking about the three core emotional needs. So the three core emotional needs are peace, love, and understanding. And what that pretty much is saying is that in order to, like, on the emotional level, in order to be emotionally stable, in order to, like, kind of be more in alignment with experiencing positive emotions, the three things that we all desire as human beings is one, to either feel peace, is one, to either feel love, or the last one, to be understood. We want you to either add peace to us, add love to us, or understand us. And all those three things we have, I'm sure we have a bunch of different people in our lives that adds value to one of those three things. Like, I have friends in my life that adds peace to me. I have family in my life that adds love to me. I have friends and family in my life that understand me. And I think you sometimes got to even take that step back to, like, question that, like, who in my life is adding peace to my life? And if you can't sit here and answer that question, like, when you're going about your day, when you're texting people, when you're hanging out with people, like, you got to ask yourself, like, is this person that I just hung out with adding peace to my life? Are they making me feel more loved? Or do they understand me? And if they're not in any of those three categories, then in my personal opinion, I feel like they're not adding value to your life. They're not, like, serving you or your life, because those are the three things that we need emotional wise as human beings, to either feel peace, feel loved, or be understood by our peers. So I think you should always take that step back and question that. Like, is this person adding peace to my life? No, they're not adding peace. All right, cool. Is this person making me feel more loved? Are they adding love into my life? No. All right, cool. Does this person understand me? Can I talk to this person, and after having a conversation with this person, like, I feel understood. I feel like this person hears exactly what I'm saying. And when you get, and appreciate you, man. Yeah, this is my first live, so I'm just doing what I can. I don't even know what I'm doing right now, live. But yeah, if you can't answer any of those three questions or put or fit anyone into those three categories when it comes to your friends, even family, bro. You even gotta, like, as much as I'm sure you love your family, you gotta like even try to fit them into those three categories on the emotional level. Like, is your mom, is your brother, is your sister, is your cousin, is your best friend, is that person adding peace to your life? Are they adding love to your life? Or do they understand you? If they're not fitting in any of those three categories, I just think, in my personal opinion, they aren't serving you right now. They aren't serving you in your life because you need those. Whether you're aware of that or not, you need peace, you need love, and you need to be understood or feel, at least feel like someone is trying to understand you when it comes to the people that are in your life. That's one thing about me. I need people, or I want people to at least try. That's the biggest thing for me. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people don't try. Like you have someone, you ever have someone in your life, friend, family, coworker, whatever the case may be, saying, "Yeah, man, I just want to be more peaceful. I want to be more like kind to other people." Like I even have people come up to me like, "Bro, I want to be more peaceful. I want to learn how to meditate. I want to like have more knowledge and like be a better communicator." Like they'll say things like this, but then after the conversation, going back to doing the same exact things, going back to playing video games all day, going back to smoking weed 24 hours a day, going back to drinking, going to the clubs. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you want to find peace and you're not finding peace within those things, why are you still doing those things? If you want to be more knowledgeable, have more wisdom, have a better understanding of life, and you're not finding them in the midst of the things that you're currently doing right now, why are you still doing those things? And, it just goes back to that, like, how bad do you really want it type of thing? How bad do you really want peace? Are you willing to sacrifice the things that please you in your life in order to feel peace? Are you willing to sacrifice the things that you enjoy doing in order to feel more loved? Like I love playing video games. If I'm being honest, I love playing video games. My game is on right now, but I'm doing something more important in my opinion right now. And even though I love video games, like I value my peace more than that. I value my peace, I value my love, I value like YouTube more than playing video games because video games, I like to play Call of Duty, like 2K, if y'all know what those games are. Like those are fun, but in all honesty, I don't know about the peace part. Like I don't really know if they add peace to my life because 2K can be very stressful. Call of Duty can be very stressful when I'm not like, playing as good as I should be. And that just goes back to like being self-aware enough to know like, all right, I feel peaceful right now, so let me go. I can go play the game right now. Since I feel peaceful right now, if I go play the game and I'm not doing good, I know I'm not gonna get mad because I'm in a peaceful state. Whereas if I come home from a long day at work, I'm already kind of stressed from this long day at work. I've been dragging. I'm not gonna hop on the game because as soon as I hop on the game and one thing happens, one thing goes the other way, and I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get pissed off, and then like that's gonna build up. And once that starts building up, my mom may come say, "Hey," and I'm like, "Mom, I don't feel like talking right now." My brother may come talk to me, "Man, leave me alone. Just shut the door." And now I'm being rude to other people that didn't do nothing to me, all because of the game. It's like you gotta just be self-aware enough to know, like, you just gotta be self-aware enough to know yourself. Know yourself, know the time, man. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast? Um, Honestly, man, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you right now. I've been making a lot of excuses, bro. If I'm being honest, I've been making a lot of excuses because, like, that originally always was the plan. Even with YouTube, like I always wanted to make a YouTube channel, but I started procrastinating with YouTube at first, and then eventually I got to the point where I was like, I just need to hit record, and start recording. And once I got there, after a while, I got comfortable with YouTube, and then that's when podcasts started to become a thing. And I hit that same point to where like I started to make excuses. I started to say like, oh, I gotta wait till I get a microphone. I gotta wait till I get my own place so I can have some good lighting, and I gotta get a nice little setup with a nice background. Like I just made and continuing to still make excuses as to why I haven't done it. So honestly, bro, I have no excuse for you. I've just been procrastinating. I just been making excuses, and it's crazy because I even got a microphone. I have like a little desk I can use to like set up the microphone. Um, but honestly, the excuse that I've been sitting with lately is I don't have my own place. Like I'm still like staying with my family right now, and I think one of the biggest things is that like I'm surrounded by I love my family. I love my family to death, but I'm surrounded by my family, and they don't really understand me and things I talk about, and like why I'm doing like they don't, if my family were to walk in here right now, they'd be like, what are you doing, bro? And it's like there's a part of me, I think a part of that comes from my social anxiety, and it also comes from just like my ego trying to protect me. And what that pretty much means in my opinion is that like there's a time and place for everything, and right now my ego is saying this is not the time, but I got to be conscious enough, and you know controlling enough to be like tell my ego like I know it's not the right time, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But like I said, I've been procrastinating. So, and like you said, bro, you just gotta start. I just gotta stop making excuses, and just start. Set up the microphone one day, set up the table, and press record. And now that we're talking about it now, I'm gonna do it, bro. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop messing around. I'm gonna stop making excuses, and I'm gonna just hit record. Cause why not? Why not? What I got to lose, man? What I got to lose? So yeah, I'm gonna hit record on that, and I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I'm gonna let y'all know how that go. Y'all probably gonna be the first ones to watch it anyway. But it's already 20. It's 27 minutes in. All right, I'm gonna share like one more quote with y'all, and then let me let my dog out right quick. But I'm gonna share like one more quote, and then I'm gonna head out for the day. So we got these are different categories. I'm gonna let y'all choose. Different categories is negativity, fear, intention, purpose, the mind. I got a lot of quotes on the mind, a lot of notes. Ego, and gratitude, and relationships. I'm thinking about going ego though. Yeah, I'm thinking about going ego. Let me see what ego got. It's a good one. It's a good one right here. So it's a two things to remember are the bad that we've done to others and the good that they have done for us. Two things to forget is the good that we've done for others and the bad that others have done to us. I'm gonna say that one more time and I'm gonna break it down so y'all like understand where I'm coming from. So, two things we should always remember is the bad that we've done to others and the good that others have done to us. And two things that we should always forget is the good that we've done for others and the bad that others have done to us. So that first one, two things we should always remember is the bad that we've done to others and the good that others have done for us. What that pretty much is saying is like we should always remember the bad things we've done to other people so that like just to give you that self-reflection. Like just to you should always remember the bad things you've done to other people just so you like can always self-reflect to do better next time. Like if I remember the last time I saw you, I went off on you, I cursed you out, I was rude to you. The next time I see you, like I'm gonna be thinking about that. I'm gonna think about that. I treated that person wrong last time. So let me go up to that person and apologize and treat them better this time. Treat them a lot better than I treated them last time. And that's why they say you should always remember how bad you treated other people, because you got to think, even though just because you remember that doesn't mean that person remembers that. So you may go up to this person and be nice as hell and they don't even remember that you was rude to them last time because of how nice you're being right now. So it just goes back to like just being able to self-reflect with yourself and be like, I treated you bad last time, so let me do better. Oh, I treated you good last time, but let me treat you great this time. I treated you great last time, let me treat you greater this time, type of thing. And then another thing to always remember is the good that other people have done to us. And why you should always remember that is just a gratitude thing. You should always remember the good people done to you just to like keep yourself in the state of being thankful. Keep yourself in the state of expressing gratitude to other people. Like a lot of people like hearing like you tell them thank you, especially if it's for little things. If someone just held the door for you and you like thank you. If someone like brought you lunch 2 months ago and you like, damn, I remember you brought me lunch like 2 months ago. Like that day I was having a long day and I needed that food. And I just want to sit here and say thank you. I know I told you thank you then, but I want to say it again now because that still sits with me. I still feel that. I still appreciate that to this day. Like just little stuff like that. Just being able to continuously be thankful, continuously like feel gratitude is gonna like push you towards happiness, because you can be feeling bad, feeling down, feeling upset, and you might see someone that did something for you. You might see someone that's always been good to you. So if you're in that constant cycle of expressing gratitude and being thankful, like that's gonna continue to put you in a state of happiness, regardless of whatever you're going through. And then two things you should always forget is the good that we've done for others and the bad that others have done for us. You should always forget the good that you've done for others to pretty much just keep yourself humble. Like ego is like a silent assassin. Like ego is that's creep up on you and take you over before you even know it. And you know that stems from like a lot of us not being self-aware. You know, if you're not self-aware, you will live your life through ego, not knowing that you're living your life through ego. And how you know, this is a great example. How I know when I'm living through ego, when I'm viewing life from an egoic perspective, is if I catch myself defending myself. The moment I start defending myself, I know like I'm not conscious right now. I'm not aware right now. I know that I'm living through ego right now. Because if I wasn't living through ego, I wouldn't be trying to defend myself. If someone is telling me that I'm lying about something and I know I'm telling the truth, if I genuinely was conscious in this moment right now, I would just be like, okay, bro. But if I'm living through ego and someone tells me I'm lying, I'm gonna be trying to explain myself. I'm gonna try to over-explain myself. I'm gonna try to persuade this person to see why I'm telling the truth. And you know, like I said, that's where that ego comes into play. The ego loves recognition. The ego loves being right. The ego loves like being first. So whenever you catch yourself defending yourself, whenever you catch yourself trying to win an argument, whenever you catch yourself like, you know, praising yourself because of how good you were to someone else, like that's ego, bro. And you got to get rid of that. You got to let that go. And that's why they say you should always forget the good you've done to others. And the second thing you should always forget is the bad that others have done to you. And they say that is the case because, you know, you should practice forgiveness. Like, you wouldn't want anyone holding a grudge on you. You wouldn't want anyone to, like, place a label on you as this bad person, or place a label on you as this person that's always yelling, or place a label on you as this person that's always being rude and disrespectful. Like, always forget the bad things that others have done for you to cleanse your own self. Because there's this quote that says that, how does the quote go? It just crossed my mind. There's this quote that says, like, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I'm gonna say it again. Holding a grudge, holding on to anger, is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's like getting mad, holding a grudge against someone, like seeing someone and immediately getting annoyed. It's just like all that's doing is hurting you at the end of the day. Like, what is you being mad doing to someone else? What is you being annoyed doing to someone else? What is you holding a grudge doing to the other person? Like, in all honesty, that other person probably don't care. The other person probably is paying you no attention and no mind. So, you know, that's why they say, like, you need to learn how to forget the bad things that others have done to you, because all you're doing is poisoning your own heart. All you're doing is poisoning your own mind when you're holding a grudge, when you're holding on to anger, when you're holding on to past hurt, when you're holding on to trauma. Like, all those things, all you're doing is poisoning yourself. And the moment you start to practice forgiveness, the moment you start to practice letting go, the moment you start to learn how to forgive other people right now in this moment and from your past, that's when you'll start to cleanse your heart. And the moment you start cleansing your heart, the more you cleanse your heart, that's when you'll start cleansing your mind. And, you know, once your heart is cleansed, there can be no grudges. Once your mind is cleansed, there can be no judgments. There can be no labels. There can be no negative perceptions of other people. Like, you're going to see people with a clear mind and feel people with a clear heart. And when you get there, that's when they speak of things like, you know, the Buddha, Jesus, and like enlightenment and things like that, because that's when you're truly living life and viewing life from the highest level, from God's perspective. When you're able to see someone and feel love, and see someone and think nothing but positivity and love towards that person. And, you know, it's a hard path to get there. It's a hard journey to get there, with all the things that you've been through and all the mental blocks and mental cycles and all the emotional block and emotional cycles that you have to overcome in order to get there. But, you know, it's a journey in itself. It's a process in itself, and it's not easy. It's not easy, but you just gotta stick to it and stay at it. Will your podcast be on this channel or a different one? It was gonna be on a different channel. I was gonna name I'm gonna give you all the details. I was gonna name my podcast Elevated Perspective. When I first came up with the idea, that's kind of where I was headed. My podcast name was gonna be Elevated Perspective, and I was gonna do kind of what I'm doing now, but, like, you know, bring guests on, bring people on, friends, family, strangers, bring people on, and we were gonna talk about modern day, struggles, issues, things that we go through, overthinking, like just talk about modern day experiences and struggles, but view them from an elevated perspective. Like, let's say we're talking about like um complaining, or we're talking about relationships, like relationships for example. Let's say we're talking about relationships and someone is talking about how they constantly arguing with their girl and how they're constantly apologizing and going back and forth. Like, of course we would talk about what you're going through, what your natural response would be, what your natural reaction would be, the natural emotion and natural thoughts. But then after we talk about the natural responses, the natural reactions, now we're gonna view this same exact concept from an elevated perspective. I know you normally would react that way if she said this. But if she said it this time and you was looking at it from an elevated perspective, how do you think you would respond to that? If she said it this time and you was looking at it from God's perspective, how do you think you would respond to that? Like, just being able to have those kind of conversations, because I don't think, you know, there's a lot of conversations like that. I don't think we have those self-reflective conversations. A lot of the times, arguments and stuff comes from you pointing the finger at the other person. But my podcast would be a very self-reflective like podcast, to where we're talking about what you normally would talk about and argue about, but now we're gonna look ourselves in the mirror and see what we could have done better to, you know, see what we could have done better to prevent this argument from prolonging, to prevent this argument in general. So yeah, that was kind of my thoughts on it. I'm gonna have to, now that I'm talking about it, and like you said, I'm gonna just have to do it, man, because I think, it'll benefit a lot of people. I think a lot of people would enjoy it. So yeah, we'll see, man. I'm gonna keep you updated. I see you holding me accountable, man. You holding me accountable right now. So I got you, man. I got you. I got you for sure. I'm gonna definitely start putting that into the works. I'm gonna stop making excuses, even if I gotta just do it without a microphone right now. Like, I just gotta, like you said, do it, press record, and start talking. So that's the plan, man. I shared a few quotes with y'all. I don't want to make this video too long since it's the first live video. But I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna just start randomly going live if I'm going through something, if I'm in my head about something and I'm feeling a certain way, or if I just have a video topic idea I want to share with y'all. Like, of course I'm gonna record most of the time, but sometimes if it's in the moment, I'm gonna just go live and press record so like y'all can get it in real time. Y'all can get it in an authentic way like you are right now. So yeah, that's my plan. But as of right now, I'm probably finna go work out, get a little quick workout in, and yeah, I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I'll probably upload again tomorrow, and I'm gonna give y'all a little life update too. I haven't given y'all a life update in a minute. What's going on in my love life? What's going on? My ring light turned off. See, I've been talking for too long. But what's going on in my love life, job wise, my plans, all of that. I'm gonna give y'all a full rundown on that soon, so just stay tuned in for that. But other than that, man, I'm out. Sending peace, sending love, sending blessings as always. Elevate.